Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. That means you having the opportunity to experience your dreams while you are in these bodies on this earth during these times. I also have asked you to write me in as the next president of the United States. And I've asked you to do this because it would be a great step in moving us toward that direction of you being free to live and glorify your life. And I want to tell you some stuff. I'm having some chats with you to help you to get a chance to know me. I've been living amongst you for about 60 some years, so I know you quite well. And you know my kind, but you don't know what my kind is. So I would like to tell you, why would I try to be president of this country? A country that has no respect for over half of its population. I think that's a good enough reason right there to get that half to have respect for that other half, and vice versa, so that people can have respect for one another. As President of the United States, I can see myself being very, very active in causing that to happen. But without me and some other guy or lady that's running for office, you're going to get deeper in the mire. And I'm not just talking to you because I want to. I'm not going to lie to you. But my main motivation for seeking president is to change our society. I want to change our society. I'm not trying to mold this and try to see where we can go with that. No, ladies and gentlemen, I want to change our society. Change it. I'm tired of the struggles. I'm tired of the ugliness that has been created within our system of operation. I'm tired of it. I've lived it my whole life, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, and I'm tired of it, and I'm not concerned about mending it. I'm concerned about changing it. And I need your support. I need the support of you, the people, to help me change the society. And what do I want to change the society to? To a environment where you, every last one of you, black folks, white folks, babies, old folks, everybody that live in this country can have the opportunity to experience their dreams. I'm not talking about you can go out there and hustle and compete with others, and maybe your dream will come true and maybe it won't, or if yours does, somebody else's doesn't. No, I'm talking about every last one of you. I can't think of anything more grander than that. And there's no presidential candidate anywhere talking to you about stuff like that. And yet they're spending millions and will be spending billions of dollars to convince you to vote for them. And none of them will offer you what I bring to you. And the reason they won't offer it to you is because they work for those who don't want you to have it. They work for those who have taken it from you. They work for those who have screwed you. It's like the police force, ladies and gentlemen. You think the police is there to serve you, but it's not. It's there to protect those who got something, and to keep those of you who don't have anything in line. I come to tell you about the creator of this earth, this big ball, all these flowers out there, and all these weeds and grass. I come to tell you about the creator of yourself, who was able to hang the moon in its place, the sun in its place, the earth in its place, and your body structure in its place. You think that creative power wants you to be suffering? Wants you to be living in an environment of lying, cheating, stealing, and killing, and war and terrorism? I don't think so. But maybe we should just, if we can't get our heads together for ourselves, let's look all around us at the children, the little tots, the boys, the girls, and as they get a little older, elementary school, well, preschool, elementary school, middle school, think about them. If we have been so instilled with all of the stuff that we are, that is all of the power behind all of what we do to deny ourselves the blessings that God has created for us. Let us think about the children. If we want to hate each other, let's put that aside for the children. See, we know the effects of hating, discrimination, racism, bigotry. We know the effects of it. We got prisons that are filled with people who felt they had to commit crimes because no one cared about them when it came down to the essentials of life. At least the system didn't, the government didn't, the people did. We got terrorism and war and crime and violence all over the place. Those are the examples that our kids are going to pick up and follow. So let us change that today. And unless we change it, our kids are going to go through the same things we're going through today, except it will be a little worse. So for the children's sake, the handsome little boy, you know he wants to be president or play football or be whatever he was created to be. And so was she. Think about how wonderful it could be if all of society worked together to guarantee each and one another that whatever their dreams are, they're going to come true, and they can count on the rest of the society to help them get there. I think that's a wonderful thing. I have no real disgust about that. But I think it's important for us to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that we as creative instruments from the Master, we are very important. Every last one of us are important. Have you ever created anything that you didn't think was important? Sometimes you created something that was so important, but then a little bit later on, your knowledge has advanced in such a way till the new thing that you're about to create is so important that the other was just a stepping stone, and this new thing is your baby. So there was a time when we might have thought that our nation was the best nation on the face of the earth. We might have thought that we were real good people and we were heavenly bound. We might have thought all those things. And that thought was handed on down or up wherever to us. But the truth of the matter is that we're not. We're headed down, 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 down. But I know it, and I'm sharing that information with you, and with that information, we have the duty and responsibility to change it, to deny that happening in our lives. So if we think about the children, and we present to them harmony between the races, between the genders, between the nations, and that's what our kids will understand. And when they grow up and start taking over, they won't have the struggle that we've had. They can move and flow right on into the harmony of the melody. So I'm asking you to consider that, ladies and gentlemen. Just consider all of the wonderful things, how they can be. And remember this, since none of us are more important than another, I want you to also know this. There is no job, no career more important than another. Every career feeds off the other. The whole feeds off each part of the career. And yet each part put together makes the whole. And whether that whole is sufficiently designed to be able to withstand time is determined by each link in the process. And this, what we create, is only as strong as the weakest link. And so we must endeavor to make sure that there are no weak links. The job of a janitor is just as important as the president or the man that's in charge of universities, or research, or anybody. They're no more than the guy who cuts the lawn, who sweeps the sidewalks, who picks trash up off the streets. Their job is just as important. I want you to remember that. It's time for us to put aside that your job is more important. You spend more time in school. That's all a bunch of crap. That's a bunch of crap. And we've been fed it. We've bought it. And we ask ourselves, why do we have to go through the things we go through? I learned today that 2% of the world's richest people own 50% of the wealth of the world. That means that 98% of the people, let's just say that's 6 billion people. 6 billion owning together, collectively, 50% of the world's wealth. And 2%, let's say 6 million own 50% of the world's wealth. And I ask you, who's the boss? The 2%. And that 2% who have amassed that percentage of the wealth, what do you think they're concerned about doing? Peace? Prosperity for everybody? I don't think so. I think what their vision is to capture more of the world's wealth. The fact that your number would increase as being poverty-stricken doesn't matter. Did you know that 300 million Africans, the same number of Americans that exist here in this country, this number, you know there's a lot of people in this country. Just think about all the people in this country living in poverty. Well, in Africa, that number are living in poverty. But that's nothing. I understand that 1 billion in Asia is living in poverty. Well, you say, we can't do nothing about that. And others may say, how can you believe in a God that allows stuff like that to happen? Well, let me explain that to you. The unique thing that has happened with you and I as individuals is that we have the ability to make choice. The truth of the matter is that when we come into this world, we are ignorant. We are designed to be real good and all that kind of stuff, but we are ignorant to good and bad. We just do what naturally flows out. And as little babies, it happens to be good. But as we grow up in a society that does not practice these principles, we don't have any idea what those principles are or how to be that way. So we come up just like the nourishment that we receive. If it's no good, then we come up no good. I don't care how much we've convinced ourselves that we're wonderful people. We might be wonderful to ourselves. But I can guarantee even amongst ourselves we find some of the greatest resentment of who and what we are to one another. So we say, why does God allow these things? Because you, my friend, having that gift to make a choice. And let me ask you something. You ask yourself sometimes, why do I have that gift to make a choice? Let me give you something to think about. For those of you who believe that you die and go to heaven, for those of you who believe that if you die and a good person, you'll go to heaven, let me tell you this. Everybody that goes to heaven under those conditions goes there because they want to. It's not going to church saying you believe in Jesus and Jesus died for you and all that kind of stuff. That's not getting you in heaven. Getting you into those beautiful pearly gates of heaven will be determined by your commitment to get there, to live by the rules, and nothing's going to stop you. And you know where that is recognized at? That is recognized at the University of Life. That is recognized while we're living here. Yes, we all are liars and cheaters and crooks and things like that. And as we live, we grow into that. The thing that makes us change is perhaps maybe how our return trip here. I say it's the spirit. It's a spirit that is in some people that makes them care about other people. It makes them want to treat everybody right and want everybody to treat them right. It's a spirit there that just recognizes the difference between hate and love, and they choose love. And as they do this, they search for answers to the problems of life. And with a genuine heart, they seem to come to the truth. And they receive that truth. Now, that receiving that truth doesn't get you into heaven. What gets you into heaven is how you act on that truth. You heard somebody say faith without works is dead. Somebody say, well, you can't work your way to heaven. God, you get it by grace. Your sins may be forgiven you by grace. The fact that you happen to grow up in a society that taught you to speak English instead of Russian, that taught you to be evil instead of good, yeah, you might be forgiven that. But at that point in time, you still have a choice to walk according to what you have been doing all along, or walk according to the dictates and principles of that which has given you freedom. And if you walk according to the dictates of that has given you freedom, you will begin to see things. But the evidence of your walking with that one is your response to the other world, the other way of doing things, the way you've been your whole life. Well, when people ask the question, why does God allow these things to happen? The answer is in this. God is a spirit. And God's words are spirit. And God's spirit lives in people that allow the spirit to live there. The spirit is not living in an individual that's dead. An individual that is alive in God is taking care of God's business. They are the arms, the leg, the mouthpiece, the whatever is required of God. Those who glorify God, those who have committed their lives to God, they are the ones that make sure that there is no poverty in this country or in this world. Those who are representatives of God, who have received that spirit, and are not asking what God can do for them, but what they can do for God. They are the ones that's making sure that everybody got housing, that everybody got food and clothing and shelter, that everybody get education and health care, that everybody get an opportunity to have a career of their choosing so that they can contribute to the goods and services that are required of the people in this land and people everywhere. This, my friend, is the evidence of those that are walking according to the dictates and the principles of the creative life. And one thing that we can be sure of, in any land or any country or any city or any state where these live, in that area you will see change, or these will be nailed to the cross, because they will not, I say, give control of God's creation to those that do not love God, to those that do not love us, who do not love one another. They will resist it. They will resist it in love. They will not pick up guns fighting. That's their way, because they don't know any better. They don't know the God I'm telling you about. And if they know it, they rejected it. But I'm telling you about accepting it. Because what these people will do is that if you are worthy, if you are truly led by God, and you are not going to allow this lying, cheating, corrupt systems of government, corrupt systems of business, corrupt systems of everything. Everything is corrupted. That doesn't mean that all the people are corrupted intentionally. But things go on that they don't know what's going on. And the humongous thing that goes on that they don't know is that a system like this, everything that goes on is corrupted. And everybody in it is playing a part in maintaining corruption, whether they know it or not. And wherever there are people that are suffering, as in America, as in Asia, as in Africa, as in other places of Europe, those people are the evidence that all of us are just selfish, egotistical men who have not matured to the level of understanding God. So my candidacy is about glorifying God and creation and heaven by glorifying you with the blessings that has been prepared for us. We're not afraid of the mob. We're not afraid of gangbangers. We are not afraid of the police. We are not afraid of the CIA. We are not afraid of the FBI. Why? Because those are agents of the people of darkness. They are agents of the people of darkness. We are not afraid of dark. We walk in the light because we know that as soon as they will kill us, ladies and gentlemen, I'll say it again, as soon as they will kill us, what happens? What happens as soon as they kill us? We are freed from this bondage. Now I'm going to share something with you to help you understand. You ever had a nightmare? Something you just hope somebody would just kick you, slap you upside the head, pour a bucket of water on you, or anything, just wake you up. I'm sure you have. Have you ever had a dream that was a little different, where everything was so wonderful, that when you were awakened, you were pissed? Who woke you up? What did you do that for? Or why did the sun rise? Why did you have to wake up from a dream like that? Well, for those of you who love God, and the evidence is in your love for all humankind, and how you stand up for the God love of all humankind, if you are killed by any system on this earth for doing stuff like that, it will be like waking you up from the worst nightmare. It will be like waking you up from the worst nightmare you ever had. And you will find yourself in that dream that you just prayed nobody will ever wake you from. And you will find yourself at home right there. It will be like you've been living there all the time, and that's the way you'll see it. And all this junk that you were kicked out of this world for trying to tear down will be behind you, and you will have no memory of it whatsoever. And your life will be just what you dreamed and hoped that everybody's life would be. So don't you fear when these guys talking about killing you. Dare them to, because you're going to die anyway. And ain't no way better than choosing your own ticket, your own destination, your own ticket, and the way you want to go. Now that's total control. And the world can't control that. Only thing they can do perhaps is hurry your destination. And they can't hurry it if the master's not through with the service that he's given you to do. So you don't have to worry about anything. Forget about somebody raiding your house, tapping your phone, reading your internet email. Forget that. That's the world of darkness. And it is our responsibility who know God, who are instruments of God, who are led by that Spirit, to make this world a better world, to make it the joy of life. That's what I want to do. I'm not going to be on the ballot. I am asking you, those of you who have matured to that level, when you go to the polls to vote for your next president, in that section where asking for presidential votes, write in Eddie Marcus, M-A-R-C-U-S. Now, as far as this message getting around, because I'm not asking you for money, I'm not going to play that game. That's the game of darkness. This is the game of light. You would get this information, and you would pass it on through conversation, verbally, on the phone, on Twitter, on YouTube, on MySpace, or Facebook, whatever medium that is out there for you to access and use. You will do that, and you will do it as many times as a person will call in on American Idol and vote for a candidate. Some people do it 10 times, so at least you will make 10 efforts to reach somebody. And this message should travel all across the country without any one person spending a whole bunch of money for anything. That doesn't say that those of you who got money, who embrace this information that I've given you and want to invest your money in God's plan, and I say God's plan because it's about freedom and liberation and peace and prosperity and joy for all people, and you know that's got to be coming from God. So I call it God's plan. If you want to invest some extra stuff in there to get this word out, do so. But I can tell you this, the only people that will engage in supporting this campaign are those who are led by the Spirit of God. If you are not led by the Spirit of God, you are frightened of what you've heard, because your trust is in man. Your trust is in your government. Your trust is in your president. Your trust is in the Federal Reserve. Your trust is in Wall Street. Your trust is in the military. But the military can't stop the storms. None of these people that I've mentioned can stop the tornadoes and hurricanes and volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. None of the people and powers that I mentioned can stop that. But the one who created everything can. Why don't you join that team? Well, I didn't mean to talk to you this long, but I hope I have made a point, and I hope that you will listen. This is Eddie Mark, the spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, and that means you experiencing your dreams in your bodies where you living right now these days. Also asking you to write me in as the next president of the United States, not an independent, not a Republican. I'm a man of God who wants to see you experience all of the wonderful things that God has prepared for you. And so, if you want that, you got somebody to vote for. If you want to vote for a devil, a big devil or a little devil, that's your choice too. But I want to say this, one of the reasons I'm going to have to act and respond in a different kind of way than I've been acting. And that is that in the future, I'm going to try to do as right as I possibly can. That means I will try to stay away from doing evil. Now, I might slip sometime and do something that later on, after I find out about it, I will be ashamed of, and I'll repent. But I'm just going to try to do good. And that means that I'm not concerned about the laws of this country. If I obey the law, it's because the laws are good. If you find me in disobedience to some laws, it's because the laws are bad. And I'm going to do good and challenge the law for the simple reason of changing that law as one of the steps that's designed to draw attention to this mission that I'm on. So I just want you to know that when you hear up and say Eddie Mark has been arrested for violating this law or something like that, you try to research and find out what I'm saying about that law and why I'm trying to empower that law with my submission to the punishment that is designed by those that lives in darkness and want to force me